I get overwhelmed so easily. My anxiety creeps inside of me, makes it hard to breathe. What's come over me feels like I'm somebody else.
Hello guys. This is the Orange Hokage here, and today we are doing, What If Naruto Was Neglected by His Family Part 9. So now let's get right into the story. It all went wrong so fast. The peaceful and unknown ways Chunin exams had gone downfall right after a genjutsu went into action. And then all hell went loose. Roz, not caring for the leaf and knowing his children were capable of holding their ground, left the Oto and Sunanin starting attacking, while the leaf shinobi defended. Naruto went against Gaara, and when the boy let Shikaku take over, it was then he decided to reveal his tail beast mode, frightening many who were there that night. At the end he was defeated and went back to Suna with his siblings. Miley put aside her hatred for the Hokage and his wife, and helped in taking down the revived brother Hokage as she dealt with Orochimaru. The end result dealt with her killing the snake Peido and the brothers being freed and sealed again. The battle had been won and now the rebuilding of the village started. We now see our lovable blonde and brunette walking to the most dreaded place known well for Miley, the council meeting. This is definitely going to be a very long and boring meeting, Miley exclaimed as they almost reached the room. Come on sis, we just answer some of the questions, otherwise tell them to get lost and then we leave. Besides, didn't you say that you had something important to discuss with them? Oh yeah. I almost forgot. I hope Makoto is there. Then they entered the room. They were met with the clan heads that made up the Shinobi Council, the Civilian Council, and the Hokage. There were also others inside the room, that included Tsunade, Jiraiya, Kushina, Noruko, Sasuke, Hinata, Shikamaru, and Makoto. They were all waiting for them both so that they could start the meeting. Okay, know that everyone is here, the meeting shall begin. Although the Chunin exams were interrupted by the invasion, there were a number of Chunin that have proven to be capable of becoming Chunin, so I shall call them out and give them the title of Chunin. The Hokage said. He then called out the names of every Chunin there and they all became Chunin, including Noruko, which confused people. But no one wanted to feel Kushina's wrath of denying her daughter the title, no one except Miley though. With all due respect Hokage, but why are you making your daughter a Chunin? She lost her fight and let personal issues within the fight. Are you trying to say that my daughter is weak? Sure, she lost, but she showed great skill as fighting. I mean, Shikamaru surrendered his fight too. Kushina yelled. Troublesome, Miley, don't drag me into this. The lazy Chunin said. Sure, he did surrender, but he knew when to retreat and showed great tactical skills. Brute force won't get you far in the shinobi world. All I see is favoritism. Besides, I wasn't talking to you, woman, so keep your mouth shut. Don't talk to my wife like that. She was only saying what she thought, Minato said. She looked at him in disgust and said, then put your wife on a leash. Gasps. What did I say? Something wrong? You let her say what she wanted, why can't I? Enough of this, you never answer my question yet. Yes, Noruko did not win her match, but that was because Naruto summoned a creature that she didn't know. Oh, so you think that everything should be known about an opponent when facing them? That bullshit. Excuse me? Yeah, that's right. All of this is just blunt out favoritism. And don't you know that deception is a shinobi's greatest weapon? You would not get far if you keeping thinking like that. You're the Hokage. You can't play favorites to anyone. All while the Hokage and his wife were arguing with Miley, the others were just watching to their amusement. They too knew, well, the Shinobi Council and Danzo, that Noruko didn't deserve to be Chunin, and what Miley said was true, it was blunt favoritism. But they couldn't say a word. So they were grateful that she had so much courage to say her mind and show how spoiled their daughter was. They all saw Naruto in a new light after he had defeated Gaara in his Shikaku form. Anyways, your idiocy aside, why else did you call this meeting? I don't think I was gonna be made a Chunin. Well, we want you to train some of our shinobi. A councilman began. No sense, it has come to our attention the way you trained the three of them, so I said no, it would prove beneficially. What the hell is wrong with you? I said no. She yelled, fed up with them. Young lady, there is no need to scream. The female advisor said. No need to scream. I said no so many times and you kept on going with your speech. Anyways, I said no before and it's still no. Honestly, what is wrong with this village? Sometimes I wish I could leave. Then what's stopping you? Are you crazy? Do you want me to leave my brother to these pack of wolves? Pulls Naruto into a hug. I don't think so. Well, if there is nothing left then Minato began. Wait. There is something else. Oh, and what is that? I want to show evidence and proof that someone was framed for a murder he didn't commit. And who is that? Looking at Makoto, who gave her a nod of approval, she said, Itachi Uchiha. Flashback. It was late at night and Miley was on her way to the graveyard in the Uchiha compound. She was going to visit the grave of her longtime friend Shisui Uchiha. He, along with Itachi, were the first people to accept her as friends when she first came to the village, and their friendship remained even after the time away from the village. They were put into Anbu and were the Hokage's favorite three-man squad, since they worked well together. This changed when he started giving her intelligence missions alone. After hearing what the council did to her friend, she along with Makoto started gathering information. Hey there Shisui. It's been a while, huh? I really don't know what to say. The council would probably hold a meeting tomorrow for the Chunin who turned Chunin. After they do that I'm gonna put the drop on the whole Itachi killed his best friend thing, cause I know he didn't. Makoto and I have been digging around and all, and I've found out who really did it. I was right all along, you know. It was the creepy mummy. Anyways, I miss you a lot. The village just isn't the same without my two best friends. Then she heard someone coming and was about to hide but knew whose chakra signature it belonged to. Hey there Itachi. I never knew you came here, she said as she still looked at the grave. Out of the shadows came out her best friend Itachi Uchiha, the only other person to accept her as her and not fear her due to her father. Can't I come see an old friend? He replied. He was somewhat shocked to see her there at this hour. I guess, but people are saying that you killed this friend for power. You didn't kill him now, did you? She questioned him. He just looked at her and just couldn't understand a couple things. Why? He asked. Now facing him she asked, why what? Why are you doing this for me? Don't you know it's easier to just forget it and leave it be? Everyone already hates me, even my own family sees me as some power-hungry murderer, but you still believe that I didn't do it. Why? Your life would have been much easier if you just left it alone. I'm not the only one that believes that you're innocent. He looks at her confused. That's right, your mother also believes that you're innocent, Itachi. Besides, we found evidence that you were innocent, so just trust us, okay? She looked at him and saw the worried look in his eyes. After a long silence he said, you could have gotten yourself hurt, or worse, they could have placed the blame of something you didn't do entirely on you. Don't you see that you're making yourself in danger? Why would you go so far for me? Because Itachi, you were my first and still best friend. You stood by me when everyone else feared me, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. I would do anything for a friend. He didn't really want that answer and looked saddened by what she said. Half of him wanted to beat her up for being so oblivious of his feelings towards her, the other half just wanted to look at her and kiss her right there. So that's what he did. Grabbing her arm and pulling her close, he kissed her gentle, until she pulled away. Her face was bright red as she stared at his smirking face. Hugging her close as he whispered in her ear, thank you for believing in me. But I have to leave. Make sure no one else does what I did to you, until you clear my name, or else I'll wipe them off the surface of the earth. Then he kissed her one last time on her forehead before he dispersed into crows, leaving a very embarrassed and confused girl. She snapped out of it when she heard giggling coming from the bush and saw Makoto emerging with a smile on her face. Yes. I get to have a daughter-in-law I approve of. Oh, I'm so happy for the two of you. So is it officially? How long were you together? Who confessed first? She started asking a variety of questions and all the poor girl do was stare. What a minute. You knew? She asked. Of course I did, silly. I bet the entire village knew about my son's crush on you. You didn't know? She asked, surprised. Most girls would be happy to be with either one of her sons, and this girl didn't look too excited. Am I that dumb? I wonder why I never knew. She thought aloud. Anyways, Makoto-san ready for tomorrow? Yes I am. It's time I get my son back and get him back for framing him. You're right. Well I guess I'll be heading back home and try to process everything that just happened. See you tomorrow, she said as she shushed home. Makoto smiled at the place the girl was standing. I wonder when I'm going to be a grandmother, she thought happily as she walked back home. End of flashback. And please tell us, why would we want the traitor to come back? He killed a fellow clan member, a person he actually considered brother all except in blood. Fugaku said. I can't believe you have so little faith in our son. He didn't kill Shisui and we have proof. Makoto said. Then pray tell us who did? Zune said. Danzo was the only word Miley said as she kept her glare at the man. The said man began to laugh a bit nervously. And why would I do that? That's a grave accusation. Do you have anything to back it up, little girl? Well then, seeing that you're so willing to cooperate, would you be a dear and remove the bandages on you? What absurdity is this? Everyone knows that Danzo is injured. A councilman yelled. Fine, then turns to the new Chunin Hinata. Would you be a dear and use your Byakugan on him? Protests were heard and ignored. As she did what her older sister figure asked her to do, she gasped, which made everyone wonder what had happened. Turn your eyes off, girl. There are no Keki Genki allowed in the meeting rooms. Danzo yelled as he was losing his composure. What do you see, Hinata? Her father asks curiously. She never looked at him though as she turned her attention back to Miley. Is he not supposed to have an arm? And I gets a nod. Well, there seems to be chakra running through it and it's similar to what, Hinata? The Hokage asked. Similar to the Sharingan, a lot of Sharingan. Gasps were heard and Danzo had enough. Rude, kill all of them here. He yelled. Just then, 20 Root members were jumping down but were stooped midway, hanging them in the air. Everyone there, except those who already knew it, were bewildered at the sight. They were snapped out of their trance. When do you honestly think that I would not come prepared, Danzo? They looked at the girl as Makoto stood behind her smirking, but they saw the girl with one hand in the air, her palm wide open. You really underestimated us. Do you really think such lousy tactics would make me separated from my son any more than you have? You sure got a lot of nerve, Danzo, she said with an intimidating voice. Say goodbye to your bodyguards. And with that, she closed her hand and the member started to cough up blood and die. Snap's fingers grab him, she says as 2 league members went behind him and hold him down. Miley, what is the meaning of this? Such things will not be tolerated, the female advisor said. Yes, people who blame the murder they committed onto an innocent person is something not tolerated. Turning back to the league members and Danzo remove his arm and the golden thing that he uses to hide his arm. Actually, Miley, I think I'll enjoy doing that, Makoto said. Miley nodded and let her, with a grin on her mouth. Hokage-sama. You can't let them get away with this. They are violating a number of laws. Danzo yelled. Everyone turned to the Hokage for his decision. Sighing, he said, Miley is known for never telling a lie. She had gone wrong on me now, so I'm willing to believe that what she is saying is true. If any indication, order your men. Haku should have been disbanded, to kill us. Once Makoto was finished, they were more than shocked to see what this man was hiding. In his eye was a Sharingan and his arm was covered in more than 10 eyes. Fugaku was more than enraged to see them. What is the meaning of this? He demanded. Dear, remember the couple of Ukas that had disappeared or had mysterious deaths? He nods, understanding. Well, they were killed by Root, and he obtained their eyes. Even Shisui, but his story had a little twist. I think Miley would like to finish. But before so, points to 2 eyes. Aren't those Shisui's eyes? They are indeed. He had a unique ability which made his eye different. Well, allow me tell you what happened. Miley began as everyone was listening. This was no ordinary meeting. Usually the clan heads loved when the girl came to meetings because she would always put the civilian council in their place and it was funny to watch. But this was entirely new. Well, you see, Danzo had his men surrounding Shisui and although badly outnumbered, he cut them down to less until less than half was left. But he was critically wounded, so he sent Itachi a secret distress signal, It was something the three of us usually carry when we go on mission together. I still don't know why he had it. Anyways, Itachi got the signal and went to help, but the time he arrived, Danzo had already taken his eyes. Right behind him were some Anbu who felt a disturbance and went to check it out. Of course Danzo said that Itachi did this so he could have Shisui's eyes and showed them the empty sockets. They believed Danzo, I don't know why, since it was the most stupidest thing ever, and so Itachi fled. At the end of the story everyone felt betrayed by the man. What do you have to say for yourself, Danzo? The Hokage asked as he was visibly angered at what had happened. Having nothing left to do he asked word truthfully, I did what was best for Konoha. Slap was heard throughout the room. They saw the person who slapped him with tears in her eyes was none other than Makoto. For the good of Konoha? Don't kid yourself. You killed members of my clan, of my family, and lied about my eldest to the point his name was dragged through the mud, and you call it for the good of Konoha? He was outside all alone for something he didn't do and you're so proud of it? You're lucky you're not going to die yet because I have something in store for you. She said between sobs. Hokage-sama, if I may, I have a suggestion on what to do. But first I think you should send some Anbu to retrieve Itachi, don't you think? Miley said as she looked at the Hokage. He nodded and did just that. She went to Danzo and ripped out his arm, along with the Sharingan in his eye, and then sealed it within a scroll and gave it to Makoto. Danzo was taken away by the Anbu and the meeting was adjourned, but before anyone left, they stayed a bit to listen to the answer the Hokage asked Miley. Miley, what you did earlier, was that a Kekigenki? A part of it, yes. Why haven't you told me that you had a Kekigenki? Do you want to die? Is that a threat? No. It's just that if anyone finds out what my Kekigenki is, my father kills them immediately. Why is that? He asks suspiciously. Something about my past, okay? I don't like talking about it. Very well. But you have faced your past, you know. Sorry Hokage, but I don't think I want to time travel. She says jokingly, and they all laugh as they leave, Makoto and her high-fiving one another on their achievement. 2 days passed and the Uchiha family along with the Hokage and his family, Naruto, Miley and a couple of Anbu were standing in front of the gates of Konoha waiting for Itachi to arrive. As they waited, some of the villagers passing by saw and joined in waiting when they found out the truth, and soon, almost the entire village was waiting for their arrival. A message was sent to the Hokage yesterday saying that they would arrive the next day at noon. As they continued to wait, they saw 4 people coming into view, which were the 3 Anbu and the awaiting person. Finally reaching the gate, Makoto ran and tackled her eldest in a hug, despite his protests, much to the amusement to the others. Itachi Uchiha, as Hokage of the Konoha, would like to apologize for being wrongfully accused for murder. You all say my deepest apologizes. It's alright Hokage-sama. It was just a misunderstanding, that's all. He said, still holding on to his weeping mother. It's good to have you back, Nesan. Sasuke said as he went to his brother, who smiled and poked his forehead, something that he always did. Ah. Itachi-sama is back. Please go out with me. I knew you were innocent. This were heard from the crowd of fangirls, all ages, and the rest of the villagers. Having enough, the Hokage told the Anbu to disperse the crowd and they all left. Naruto left saying he had a date with Hinata, and Fugaku left saying he had important business to attend to. The only ones left were Itachi, Makoto, Sasuke, and Miley. You shouldn't have left, you know. Miley started, as she made her way up to him. You could have at least told me and we could have done something. She hugs him and he hugs back as he smiles. Going back, he saw an evil glint in her eyes. Even if the Hokage didn't believe you, I could have easily given him many persuasions to not doubt you. Bonk, you idiot, you can't beat up the Hokage. Have you lost your mind in the little time I was gone? Itachi said after he hit her head. Ow. Why the hell do you always hit my head? Do you want me to get brain damage? She yelled. He just ignored her and walked away, secretly smiling. Hey! Don't walk away from me. She walked after him and when she caught up, he simply held her hand, smiled and continued. Itachi HNGRR, don't HN me. I had to beat your brother up since he would use real words. Staring into the sky she continued, I also beat him up to get all that Uchiha pride out. Anyways, why are you holding my hand? I can walk, you know. Did you forget what I told you that night? What night? Oh, you know, I just remembered something. See ya, she said as she shined away. Does she honestly think that I'll let her go that easily? He sighed and then walked to his compound. All this while Sasuke and Makoto were watching from afar, as Makoto giggled and Sasuke was finally understanding what was going on. Kasan? Does Nesan like her? Yup. Your brother loved her since their children days. But she had to leave and then come back. I hope you're okay with it? Yeah, Miley is really nice and strong. But Kasan, she's very scary sometimes too. The boy said, shivering at the torturous training he had to go through. His mother just laughed. But why does he like her? I know she isn't a fangirl, but does she like him too? Well, you see, Miley is a very bright girl, and seeing that she used to play with Itachi when they were younger, she became a daughter I never had, and I became a second mother for her, after her mother died at a young age. She does like your brother, but she doesn't know it. It's why she says that they're friends. But why? Didn't Nesan already told her how he felt? He didn't think his brother was a coward. He looked confused when he saw his mother laughing really hard. Oh, he told her alright. But she thought he meant as a friend and said that she liked him too, and then stared, naming other people she considered friends as well. You should have seen your brother's face. I don't believe I was him that embarrassed before. Anyways, you see, she using this excuse of being friends as a shield from any harm coming to her. Why, I don't know. Besides, if you want to know why he likes her, just ask him yourself, she said as they finally reached their compound. It's been a week since he was back, and Itachi Uchiha was official pissed. Why, you asked? Well, despite the Fang Earls running towards him, the one person he loved was doing the opposite, running away and was nowhere to be found. Walking through the streets of Konoha, he spotted Naruto and Hinata, who he believed were on a date, and knowing Naruto was the closest person to Miley in the village, so he walked up to them and asked, "Hi there, Naruto, Hinata. How are you?" He smiled. "We're both fine," Itachi said. Hinata answer. "Looking for Miley again, huh?" Naruto laughed. "Where the hell is she? Is she really avoiding me?" He scowled. "Haha, well, last time I saw her, she was heading to the Hokage Tower, saying she needed to ask him something. But what you did to her, really shook her up, you know," he said a bit seriously. They looked at him, confused. "What do you mean?" "Well, what I mean is that after that night you kissed her, she came back a complete mess, muttering things like friends and can't like and whatnot. Then she started asking me a bunch of weird questions the next day, like, is it normal for a friend to kiss? It was really weird. All I know is that for whatever reason, something you have to ask her, she wanted you as a friend and built this mentality that you guys were only going to be friends." Pondering on what Naruto told him, he was brought out of his thoughts when Hinata asked, "We were summoned by the Hokage as well, do you want to come along? I believe she really is there. She keeps saying that she needed to ask the Hokage for permission." "Thank you. I guess I will come along." When they finally reached the Hokage office and opened the door, they were met with the faces of the Hokage and his family, Sasuke, Sakura, and both their mothers and Hinata's mother, as well as Miley. When Miley saw Naruto and Hinata, she smiled, but looking at who came with them, a scowl on their face, she frozen and then turned a dark color red, as she quickly looked away. "Well then, Miley, now that everyone is here, why don't you tell us what was so urgent?" the Hokage said in a calm tone. Composing herself, "Well, I guess I should get straight to the point. I want to talk my 4 students out of the village for 3 years to complete their training." There was silence, and then what? They all said. "Why would you need to do that? You were training them quite well inside the village?" Hitomi Hyuga asked. "Well, you see, there's something that I want to look for. Something my brother and I believe existed and still does. If I leave now, then their training would be incomplete, and I don't want to start from scratch again. Besides, it'll be giving them real-life experiences of the world outside." That's why I wanted to ask for you permission to leave Hokage and wanted permission from both the parents and students. She finished. I want to go. Sasuke started. I know the training that you made me go through was hell, but in about 2 weeks of being a Chunin with your training, I easily became low Chunin. If you think that leaving would help completing my training, then I'm in. Besides, you helped me, the least I could do is help you with your goal. Turns to mother. Can I go, Kasan? Smiles. Well, if it's you, Miley, then I have nothing to worry about. I see you like my daughter, so better keep both yourself out of harm's way. She said the ending bit a bit seriously. Thank you, Makoto, I appreciate that. I've always seen you like a second mother, she said with a smile. Then Sakura spoke up. I want to go too. Miley, you were the one who told me that I had great potential, that I wasn't weak, and you helped in becoming someone confident with who they are. I'll go with you, and when we come back in 3 years, I'll be the most badass medical nin around, she said as she pumped up her fist. Her mother just laughed. I agree. Thank you for giving my daughter hope. You have my approval, she said, smiling calmly. Thank you. I promise I won't let you both down. Then it was Hinata's turn. Miley, you already know my answer. Of course I'll come. You're like an older sister to both me and Hanabi. I believe my daughter speaks for the both of us. You also brought confidence into my daughter, after my foolish husband branded her weak, and I trust you. You have my approval. Turning to Naruto, why are you guys looking at me? The thing she's looking for is something we're both looking for. Beside, if you're not in the village, what exactly do you think I'll be doing? Nothing, of course. I'd probably die from boredom, he exclaimed as they all started to laugh. Turning to the Hokage to give permission, well, they agreed, and honestly I don't mind, but do you mind telling me what you're looking for? He questioned. If I told you now and couldn't find it, then I'd look like a fool. I'll tell you about it. So? Can we leave? She asked anxiously. All right, you may leave, but under one condition, he said, which stopped their celebrations. And what is that, Hokage? She questioned curiously. I want you to take my daughter with you and train her as well. Looking at the said girl, they saw a smug look on her face, to which they all scowled at. Damn spoiled brat. I'm sorry, Hokage, but I can't do that. She tried to be calm. Blinking, he asked, and why's that? There are a number of reasons of why I can't train her, but let me tell you the main ones. Fiercely, she isn't my student, meaning that I would have to start from scratch, but you trained them from scratch. Kushina exclaimed. Yeah, but that's because they didn't have their family styles grinded into them when they were younger. What you taught her will always be her normal stance. It's something that I can't undo. Secondly, I don't like her. She doesn't like me. We both hate each other. I hate spoiled, upstruck brats. I had to beat him points at Sasuke up to get rid of all the Yukas are superior and you're all beneath me crap. I was almost going to beat her points at Sakura for being such an annoying fangirl, if she didn't get out of it after my talk with her. Heck, I almost beat Hinata up for having such low esteem of herself. Sorry, but no can do, Hokage. Besides, why do you need me to train her when you could ask Jiraiya or you train her yourself? You've been doing that all her life anyways. She finished. No. They look at where the outburst and saw that it was from Noruko. I want you to train me. I demand that you do, or else I'll beat you up, she yelled. Everyone in the room burst into laughter at her. Kid, that girl is gonna get herself killed one of these days, Kuruma said as he roared in laughter. You sure got that right, Q. Noruko, calm down. You shouldn't go trying to charge into a fight, especially one that you'll lose in, Kushina said, as she tried to calm her daughter down, but only made it worse. Kasan, you don't think I could beat her? How could you? Your mother is only telling you the truth, Noruko. If you don't want to die, then stand down, Minato said. He and his wife had about enough of her whining, and it was about a week before that they learned that their daughter was really rotten. So guys, that's it for today. If you like this story and want more, then please subscribe and turn on the bell icon, and also follow me on Instagram, the link is in the description. Until we meet again, take care and goodbye.